and I'll start this saying what you did earlier, and that was, if there's one thing that you've got to do on this broadcast, Ayden, it's give Steven a full, uninterrupted opportunity to explain how things had happened the way that they did, so that is precisely what I will do. Steven, you have the floor. Go ahead, I will mute my microphone.
Oh, so we're telling the story again?
Yeah, we're telling it. I told my story. I said I would not speak for you, Stephen, that you're a grown man, could speak for yourself, and I wouldn't speak behind your back. So,
I mean, just plain and short, it's too many distractions, too many arguments instigated, and too many warnings over like a 2-year period of time. That's just what it boils down to. I don't see, though, why it's still an issue, because Logan's not banned from the channel. He still has access to 2 of the 3 panel shows on the channel. So I don't even understand. It's not even that harsh of a restriction.
Well, I mean, you did say in our private correspondence that he was just banned outright from the show.
I feel like I went in great detail to express that he was still permitted on Ryan's show. I went to great length to express that he was still welcome on Stump's show. Ryan, Stump, do you guys feel like I was not clear about that?
No, I think you were clear.
Like, I made it more than clear to everybody he was welcome on your guys' shows, right?
Yeah.
And then I think I also clarified that with you too, Pastor Chuck, right?
yes, you did. And I said, yeah.
So I feel like it's all very
Nice
public
job.
information. Logan is welcome in multiple places, even on my channel. He's only temporarily not allowed on one panel.
For the basis of something that you've already admitted before in the past wasn't true.
To be honest, even if it was on the basis that Logan was only 4 foot 2 inches tall, and I want everyone on my panel to be 5 feet tall, it's just irrelevant. But there were legitimate reasons that have been expressed to him multiple times.
Putting a stumbling block in the way of the Holy Spirit were the words that you specifically used
Sure.
on
Yep.
the last show. And I just want to ask you, because I've always been confused on that. How do you think a stumbling block could be put in the way of the Holy Spirit exactly?
Well, one way you could do it is by having a Christian channel and let too many atheists on at one time to where there's no dialogue going back and forth. It's just pretty much Christians defending great blasphemies. That's one way you can put a stumbling block in the way of the Holy Spirit.
Okay, so could you give an example, perhaps?
I just gave you an example.
No. I'm asking for a specific, because you just gave a vague example of a channel.
You think that
has
was
too many
vague?
Atheists. Well, you said a channel. You didn't give a specific channel, so I just want...
Well, I gave you a
specific-
specific
as far as
example
what
of a
channel-
channel because I'm running a channel.
Oh,
So I
it's
thought it
your
was a
channel
very
that you're
appropriate
referring to. So it's
comparison.
your channel that you're referring to. Okay. I just wanted to make that clear.
Well,
that
I
was
think
your
of it as
channel.
God's channel, but yes, the channel that God has entrusted me in.
So, how many atheists have you had on your show exactly? Because last I checked, Adam was one. He's no longer one.
Uh-huh.
I'm an atheist. Logan's a Christian.
Right, you're an atheist, but you're no longer allowed on there.
Yeah, so
we have
exactly.
Grayson. Grayson is an atheist. Mark Reed has come and visited. We had the other Grayson, who has come on, the base theory guy, several times. And then
A couple of times.
over different shows, we have had random atheists come on to have conversation with us.
So like 3 or 4 atheists. That
I feel like if that's the number you just got from everything I named,
Well, given the fact that a whole bunch of the ones that you're talking about are
sure.
disclosed.
Let's just go with the small one, 8 and 3. What are you getting at?
Well, I mean, I'm getting at the point that if you think that is so many people that are on another worldview as far as having a different perspective that you cannot have positive biblical discussion, then I think that that's kind of odd, because...
I wouldn't want to
productive
disrupt the
biblical
Holy
discussion.
Spirit's flow if it was a panel of 0 atheists and we were all Christians.
So how is it the Holy Spirit's flow, and how can you discern that it's the Holy Spirit's flow?
Well, you're not a believer, Ayden, So nothing I tell you is going to make
No,
sense
that's
to
not what
you,
I- that's not
nor
what
do
I'm
I
asking
think you
for.
would truly acknowledge it.
Not what
So
I'm
it's
asking.
just irrelevant.
That's a dodge, first and foremost.
You can
but-
call it that.
Yeah, well, I just did, and I'll
Of course
say it
you did.
again,
I
it's a
acknowledged
dodge.
it.
Well,
I mean, I don't know why you have to acknowledge my acknowledgement. Weird flex,
I mean-
but okay, Ayden, go on.
because you're just trying to obfuscate from the actual conversation
Uh-huh.
that we're having.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I answered all of your questions in detail, but
No, but I was
sure,
trying to
I'm
expound
avoiding
on
them.
One of those, I was trying to expound on one of those points, and you're over talking me with your passive
go ahead,
aggressive
Ayden.
mantra, which is kind of funny to me. But I mean, that being said, I mean the amount of atheists being on there and the disruption of the flow of the Holy Spirit, that doesn't get to the point that I was making, which was how is the Holy Spirit, being an omniscient and omnipotent force, how could that possibly be interrupted?
I want to ask you a question, Ayden, and this is a question that's really been
You're
bothering
not
me.
gonna answer my question.
I'll get back to that question.
Okay.
You feel very bad for Ayden or for Logan losing one of the 3 panel access shows, correct? Like, you really legitimately feel bad about that for him?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's why I'm
Yeah,
on.
you do. I mean, all the atheists seem to be feeling really bad about it, but I can't help but notice that not a single one of you guys has a YouTube show where you invite Logan on. It's
That's
just
a gotcha?
baffling
That's
to
your
me.
big Gotcha.
It's not a gotcha.
That's
It's
the
you
point.
guys act like you're concerned for Logan. You pretend that you suffer
holding
because
you-
he's
I'm
not
holding-
in community,
I'm
but
holding
then
you to
you
a
guys
standard of your
offer
own
him no
conduct.
community while demonizing believers for how we organize our communities.
So is this the Stephen Bowlin version of go build your own dinosaur adventureland is what you're trying to peddle?
I don't think that's the Stephen Bowlin or Kent Holven version. I think that's the common sense approach to life.
So I should build
If
a channel
you build it,
specifically-
you
Hold on,
have the
specific-
rules to it.
So what you're telling me
It's the
is that I
same
should
as with
build a
God when he
community
created the world,
specifically-
Ayden.
You're
He
telling
also
me
had the
that I
power
should-
to
hold
judge
on,
it
Mr.
however he
Stephen,
wanted.
Mr. Bowlin.
Mr. Linden.
I'm trying to have a productive discourse with you here, and bulldozing over the discussion isn't exactly going to facilitate that very well.
I'm
But
sure that was only
being
on my
said-
side, right?
Well, I mean, you're right now as I was trying to have a conversation.
Go ahead,
so
Ayden.
You're demonstrating that that's exactly what's going on. Thank you. I appreciate that. But as far as what I'm talking about is concerned, Stephen, you're honestly telling me that I need to build a community specifically for the purpose of facilitating Logan because he was mistreated on your platform, is what you're trying to say.
Define mistreated on my platform.
I define mistreated as having panelists say things like, I don't want this to be the reason that you kill yourself because you have nothing else going on in your life, and you doing nothing whatsoever to possibly get in the way of...
Wait a minute. Rewind. Who said this?
That was Dustin that said that to Logan.
Oh, okay.
very
I'm
onset
accountable
of the
now for what
conversation.
Dustin said?
But no, you're accountable for not intervening and not doing anything whatsoever to try and stop it, though. And besides, you're the one that
Well,
actually fed the...
I'm
info.
just
Hold on,
gonna.
I'm not done. I'm not done,
no.
Steven.
I want to
Remember what
just.
said
I want to
before
just
about
wrap it
bulldozing,
up.
Steven?
I want to
No,
just
I'm
wrap
sure
it
you
up
do.
short, Ayden.
I'm sure you do. That
But I
would be
can
very
simplify it
convenient.
for you really well. I know you don't respect this principle because, and this isn't one of
Poison the
those
well.
American gotchas,
Poison the
but
well.
you're not an American. So
Poison the
you
well.
don't comprehend the level of freedom that we enjoy. And the name of the game is if you own it, if you built it, you make the rules.
What a
If it's
petty
your
excuse.
house,
What a
you
petty
do not
excuse.
have to let your neighbor come hang out in your living
sure
room.
Adolf
You just
Hitler would
don't,
say the
Ayden.
same thing,
That's the
Steven.
American
I'm sure
way.
I'm sure
That's
Adolf
actually
Hitler
the
would say
greatest
the
part
exact
about being
same
an
thing
American is that
about him
I
being
don't
the head
have
of the
to
Third Reich.
encounter you.
Oh, you has a problem with the facts that I am trying to gas all of the Jews. Well, if you have such
I think
a problem,
facts
you do not
facts
need to be
is
within my
facts
own
is a
country.
funny word to use.
You simply do not need to be within my own country if you have a
Ayden-
problem with
Ayden's
what
just
I am
mocking.
doing.
No, I'm
nothing
pointing
about
out
this
an illustrated
conversation
example.
was
See?
meant to be
See?
productive.
No, it actually was, but you don't
Really?
have any interest in having it.
Well, let me ask you, Ayden, on best case scenario, Ayden, how did you expect this to turn out? Let me ask you that.
Well, I honestly expected that you were not going to answer anything honestly, and that you were. Going
Oh,
to
so I
talk.
didn't let you down.
Well, no,
That's
you
good.
certainly did not let me down. Thank you for saying
Yeah.
that, because you
Okay.
haven't answered anything honestly.
Hey, I'm just glad you're going away from this undisappointed, bud.
Well, I mean, I'm not, so thank you. I do appreciate that at the very least. But not only that, that's right. But that being said,
It's pretty amazing that Ayden,
yeah, what is that? What is it?
the atheist hellbound sinner, is lecturing us on the Holy Spirit.
Isn't that
He's trying to tell us how the Holy Spirit works.
Isn't that
Yeah.
really sad? That
He's
it
getting
takes
in our
an
business.
atheist
And
to
lecturing
have
how we run our communities
Exactly.
when he
Isn't it not
offers
really
Logan
sad that it
zero
takes-
community, because
not
it's
your business.
easier to dog how someone else runs their community than get off your couch, put down your joint, and do it yourself.
Oh, put down my joint. You see, I love these underhanded little things that Steven likes to
It's not
lace his
underhanded.
comments.
You
Yeah,
have
it is.
choked
It's a
on a bong
definition.
multiple times
It's
on
an
my
undefinite-
show,
I have.
Ayden.
It was really great,
It's a
actually.
fact.
I really enjoyed that. And you pointed out the fact that I did it as well, so I mean, that's kind of on you. The onus was on you to point that out, which was what you did, so whatever. I mean,
Okay.
that being said,
Merry Christmas.
thank you, I appreciate that. It's
You
not
are
quite
the
Christmas
weirdest
yet.
atheist I have ever met, Ayden.
You really do not want to have a conversation.
You're the only
David.
atheist who will try to shame Christians for their morals.
Well,
It's
let me ask-
baffling.
Let me ask you something then, Steven, for the sake of that.
Okay.
Logan recently showed me a screenshot of
Mm-hmm.
what happened directly after his interaction with Bruce,
Yeah.
where he was
Ryan,
talking
please
with
pass the
Bruce,
Nigger Nuggets.
and you told him after
one from
Logan
what we
said,
have.
"I'm sorry for what happened on the show." After you said that, you said, "Oh, you didn't do anything wrong, Logan. You didn't do anything wrong." So I don't understand why you would tell Logan that he didn't do anything wrong on one hand when it came to his interaction with Bruce, but then on the other hand, you choose to tell Dustin behind the scenes, "Oh yeah, I think that Logan's trying to sow all this discontent between you. I think that Logan's trying
Well,
to cause
first
all
of
this
all,
problems."
that's a really mucky watered situation because Logan sends about 10,000 messages a day, half of which is my face on various pictures with the American flag in front of the Statue of Liberty, and then again as like one of the Eiffel Towers. So my correspondence with Logan, I can't tell you when those messages were taken,
So
Ayden.
I do not recall is what your response is.
I
to
mean,
being
that is
directly
legitimately,
called out.
yes.
Yeah, to being directly called out on the fact that you have contradicted yourself in your actions. Your response is, "I don't recall." That's great, Steven. I mean, I can't disprove it. I can't disprove that you didn't
Logan,
recall, so I'm not
Ayden,
surprised
what
that
you're
that's
missing is the main point. I don't even know why I'm explaining this to a 22-year-old boy when I am a
Yeah.
33-year-old man. The principle
Try to
is,
really legitimize
this
it all
is
you want,
my
Steven.
channel,
Try to
Ayden.
illegitimize it all that you want.
I don't
If you
have
don't-
to let anyone
you
on my
don't-
channel, even
you
if I
don't
suspect
think
they use a deodorant that I don't like the smell of, Ayden.
When
It
did
is
I dispute
my
that?
channel.
When did I dispute that, Steven? Did I ever dispute that it was your channel? That's
Well,
not
you
what's in
crying
dispute.
like a child right now about this,
not
but
crying
not
like a
offering
child. I'm
not
actually
offering
sitting
Logan
here-
a solution like a
I'm sitting
community
here talking with
is
you very calm, sitting here talking with you in a measured way.
yeah, but it's unproductive.
Oh,
This was
well,
never
I mean, of
gonna be
course, because
productive.
Anything that's critical towards you is unproductive, isn't it, Steven? I mean, heaven forbid somebody criticize the late great Stephen Bowlin, the man who doesn't sin but lies through his teeth on every opportunity he possibly can. Not you, Steven. I couldn't imagine somebody impugning somebody like you. No. You charlatan.
Hey, can I jump in?
Well, I was gonna give him like 30 more seconds to ramble.
No, you're a charlatan and you're a shyster, and there are plenty of people that have already made that determination, and that's openly available for everybody to make that determination themselves. But you're a shyster and you're a huckster, and
I'll
you
tell
don't have to
everyone
get
out there
involved in
listening
yourself.
to examine my fruit. Dig as deep as you want, examine my fruit. That's my defense.
Steven,
Go ahead, Logan.
is it the first time you said I interrupt the Holy Spirit? The first time out of nowhere you thought I was a atheist witch who pretends to be autistic to troll Christian channels? And
Can I ask you something, Logan?
Let him finish.
what?
In front of the brethren?
Let him finish.
What? And you said I automatically know what's going on, and you think it might be from a Holy Spirit or a satanic spirit? And that's I already know. You guys said I have a friend who's a witch, but was it Chuck or Mark? So the only person I could thought is Ayden, and it was crazy. He's still saying the same thing nowadays, saying I interrupt the Holy Spirit, just make a little joke. Well, Dustin he has problems, but he said some stuff very bad. You did stop him from saying anything. You went after Ayden, but not Dustin when he said he doesn't want me to call a suicide hotline for what he's doing, and said I tie a garbage bag around my neck to know I'm in the garbage can. Yeah, Dustin attacked you for, they say you threatened Ayden, but Adam even said it wasn't you, it was Dustin. You didn't do that.
But I will say, though, for the sake of what was just discussed earlier, what Gangster Ghost does when he makes the jokes that he does is he's trying to communicate with people and have a conversation, but he doesn't have the conventional way of communicating with people and having a conventional conversation because he has autism. And that autism in the Christian worldview is something that God would have known about creating him. So if you think, Stephen, that he's disrupting the Holy Spirit gave him the capacity to have conversations the way that he does and to carry himself the way that he does. So the Holy Spirit is interrupting the Holy Spirit, if anything.
Logan, have you been diagnosed with autism, or?
Yeah, my psychiatrist said so.
Okay, so if you've been diagnosed with autism and that's okay, and you want to put that out there into the world, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. We don't have an issue with that. But again, this is a panel that doesn't know each other very intimately. So, as somebody with autism, whenever you are dealing with other people, people with autism tend to struggle with social interactions at times. Okay, and if somebody doesn't know that you do have autism, they can see.
But he knows, though. That's the thing, and I'm really
Who
sorry.
knows? Who knows?
Stephen does. Stephen.
Okay,
knows
well, I'm not talking. I wasn't necessarily talking about Stephen. I was talking more or less about Dustin there.
And Dustin, both of them actually. They've both been informed, and you know what? I won't just make this all about Stephen because that's not my intent. I have plenty to say to Dustin, and I hope he shows up so that he can defend himself. But all I've got to say is that it is not excusable for especially Dustin, because Dustin knows that Logan has autism. He's had that explained, both in private and on the show. They knew that Logan had autism, and that didn't matter. That did not matter as far as how they carried themselves, as far as how they interacted with him. And the reason why I brought Stephen up is because Stephen is the one that's leveling this accusation that Logan is disrupting the Holy Spirit and that he's doing it intentionally. So if he's doing it intentionally as a result of his autism, that is autism that the Holy Spirit or God or whatever you want to say, that's autism that was given to him by that entity. So I don't know how you can lay that at Logan's feet and say that's his fault. That is a condition that was given to him. That is the same as saying that it's a blind man's fault for walking into traffic. It's not. It's a condition that was given to them outside of their control.
And the main focus of these panels is really just to discuss the Word of God and get closer to God and fellowship and come together in the name of the Lord and in the name of Jesus Christ. And there's been moments where we're having conversation and fairly deep conversations in there, and then sometimes Logan will say something, and it may be.
Why do you think Ayden and all the other atheists are fighting so hard to keep Gangster on the show? Because of what you just said, Lupin.
He's someone that has rights, Stephen. Because he's a human being that has autonomy and does not deserve for you to make the erroneous
Lupin, it's
claim.
because they hate the message of Christ.
Yeah, you go ahead and erroneously claim that, Stephen. You have no evidence to suggest that. You know what I have evidence of, Stephen? I have evidence.
Wait, did you just say I don't have evidence that you hate my Christ, or that you've spoken ill against him? Because I have multiple episodes where you've come on my show talking great blasphemies. But then you come on here and you have the audacity to try to explain to a room full of believers what the Holy Spirit would do. Ayden, you are arrogant. You are arrogant and small.
Amen, amen, amen.
Keep your fake proselytizing going, Stephen.
You're a great prophet of Baal.
Yeah, I'm a great prophet of ball. Okay, go ahead. You can keep making those claims with no evidence, because that's what I actually said as far as you not having any evidence, Steve.
Your fruit is your evidence, Ayden.
That was in relation to what you said, as far as, oh, well, they do this because they hate the message. The reason why I do this can be proven by the fact that I defended Logan with nothing to do with God or the Holy Spirit. I defended Logan on the basis that he is somebody with autism that was getting witch hunted by a group of people.
Hey,
No,
you
let
wanna
me
know a
finish.
funny
Let me
story,
finish,
Ayden?
Steven.
You want to know a funny story,
Bowlin,
Ayden?
let me finish. I'm not done speaking to you. All right? 3rd grade, you learn to not speak when someone else is speaking, right? Can you
Hey,
exercise
Canadians
that?
have
Hey,
a
Steven,
reputation for
can you
being
exercise
friendly, but
that,
I'm not getting
Steven?
that from you right now.
I'm asking you to exercise the common decency
Look,
of
I'll
allowing
listen
me to
if you
finish
stop
what I was
acting
saying.
like a heathen.
Oh, yeah. Well, you already said earlier in one of your shorts that I'm not a heathen anymore, so you can't say that. Come on, Steven.
Come on, Ayden.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that me acting dishonestly? It's just a taste of your own medicine, Steven.
No, okay, so I'm
sorry.
going to go ahead and tell my story now because you wouldn't,
Well, you said you
wouldn't
didn't
get
want
on with
to,
it.
but you
So
said you didn't want to. You said you already
my
told your
girlfriend's
story,
brother
but you already said you
is-
told your story,
he is
Steven.
autistic.
Steven.
And I had to take him to the doctor's
Steven.
office not long ago. He rode with me. And I thought this is a great opportunity because he's not only autistic, but he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in God. I thought this is a great opportunity to put on my show and have him listen. And I picked one of the episodes where we had atheists on, trying to win them over. I'm trying to plant seeds with him because I love this dude. And he starts laughing when Logan comes on. And I said, "What's so funny?" And he says, "That guy's trolling this channel."
Right, because you don't think that Logan actually has autism. You think he's
I don't
faking his
know whether he
autism.
does or not.
No,
That's
you've
irrelevant.
said before in the past that he's
That's the
faking
thing.
his autism.
No,
That's
it's
the
irrelevant
thing,
whether
is
he
that-
does or not.
Well, no, you've actually said that, though, Steven. So how about you stick by your position for once in your life? Could you do that? Could you actually stick by your convictions and stick by what you say publicly compared to what you say privately? Or do you have
Yeah.
to keep squirming and deflecting?
I
Because that's
feel
all that
like
you're
the
doing.
last thing I've done is squirmed and reflect. My life's
Deflect.
probably one of the most
Deflect.
public lives in YouTube.
Including the
And
parts
you're going to
where-
accuse
including the
me
parts
of not
where-
being open enough?
including
That's
the parts.
ironic coming from you, the little secret agent
I didn't
atheist
say
that
open,
nobody
I
knows
said
anything
honest. I
about,
said
except
open.
that you have a little bit
I
of
said
your
honest.
own
I said honest.
spectrum in that you blaspheme our God constantly and that you're possibly Canadian. And you're going to accuse me of not being open enough?
Yeah, you can go
You've
ahead
got
and keep
balls,
going.
dude,
You
and they're
can go
small.
ahead. You're so frustrated, aren't you, Steven? You're
I
so
am.
fired up.
I
You're
am.
so fired up. I know you are, because you hate having your feet held to the fire in a real way, Steven. That's why when you had your little falling out with Chuck, you decided that you were going to call him the most untruthful person that you've ever met in your life, and that he's outright lying. Because when you actually get confronted with things, unlike Logan, you have no grace whatsoever. Logan took that confrontation the other day with extreme grace. You never
he did.
insulted anybody.
You're right.
You never went below the belt. That's not
Yeah.
what you do, Steven. You don't do that. You actively seek
Oh,
for
really?
ways
Can
to
you
mock and
go
condescend.
find all your evidence where
Yeah,
I've lashed
you've
out
done it.
because
You've
I
done
didn't
it
do
in
that
this
against Brett
interaction.
Keane
You
when
did
Brett
that
Keane
in our
did me
interaction
dirty?
right here.
I
did
feel
that
like
right
I've been
here.
attacked on YouTube
Everyone
a lot.
has watched what you just did, Steven.
People,
Your
I want you to
actions
go to
betrayed
Big Bad
what you
Mama's
just said.
channel. Look at how many videos Big Bad Mama has about me, and then go on my channel and see how many videos I have about Big Bad Mama. And then again, you'll know that Ayden's fruit is spoiled, and it's filthy lies.
Yeah, no, everything that I say is spoiled and filthy lies, but I'm actually consistent with my character, and I'm actually consistent with the things that I say.
You are consistent. You are consistently blaspheming our God
I don't tell
on our
Dustin,
channel.
Do
I
you
don't
realize
tell
how
Dustin-
privileged you are to
I
even
do
be
not
on these
tell,
channels?
I do
You're
not
a
tell
consistent
Dustin
blasphemer.
On one hand, I do not tell Dustin on one hand that Logan is trying to actively instigate fights with people, and then actively also tell
Logan
that he
has
did
been
nothing
doing
wrong.
that, and Logan has been doing
But
that
he
for the
did
past
nothing
2
wrong
years.
that time that he had that interaction with Bruce, according
Okay.
to you, though, Steven. But he did
So
nothing wrong
one
that
time out
right?
of 2 years, if you're
Right?
right, if that is
Right?
not out of context.
No,
I just
it's not the
answered
one
you.
time. I can,
Pastor
I can
Chuck,
bring up other examples.
If you
Oh,
want to talk one-on-one later, that would be fine.
Run away,
or
Steven. Run away.
you're absolutely I am, because this is
Okay,
fruitless
yeah,
and I could
go.
be spending time doing anything else.
spend more time avoiding your children, Steven.
Okay. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cindy's
Well,
already
God bless
proven
you
that.
guys, and Chuck,
Cindy's
I
already
love
proven
you,
it.
but
It's publicly
allowing
available.
this guy on your channel,
Deadbeat
it
dad.
just doesn't look good.
Deadbeat father.
Yep.
Hey,
All
Chuck,
right.
you need to take Aiden off. He's making personal
Oh yeah,
comments
go
about
ahead
one of our
and cry.
believers.
Go ahead
If you
and
don't,
cry.
you need to take. He needs to go
Cry
by.
a
He
little
needs
harder.
to get out
Cry a little
and
harder,
get
Stump.
go
This
by.
is
Cry a
becoming.
little
He needs to go by.
This is
He's a
becoming
Cry a little harder,
distraction.
Stump. Cry a
atheist.
little
He needs
harder.
to take himself off this
Yep.
channel, mind
You're a
his
little
business.
crybaby.
He
You're a little
attacked Steve all this
crybaby.
time. Now he's attacking about
A
his
little
children.
crybaby. Yeah, because
That
he
man needs to
abandoned
go.
his children.
He ain't
Because he
Aiden,
abandoned.
he's
That
right.
little
He shouldn't be
punk
bringing
needs to
up.
go. That little punk needs to go. He don't need to be on this channel attacking other believers like that. He went beyond
You can
again.
go ahead and shove it, Stump.
After he
You can
promised
go ahead
not
and
to.
shove it. No,
He
I
needs
actually
to-
said
he
I
needs to-
wouldn't
he needs
curse.
to go. He
I
needs to
said,
go.
I
You're a
said,
punk.
actually,
You're a little
I said,
punk, man.
I actually
He
said
needs
that I
to go.
wouldn't
What you
curse.
do, you're a
What I
little
said was
punk.
that I wouldn't
You're
curse.
atheist on your way
What
to
I
hell.
said was that I wouldn't
Get on
curse.
your way to hell and leave this channel alone, man. You're just a devil worshiper or something. What's wrong with you? This dude promised he wouldn't do that. And then he starts personal attacks on Steven after he attacked him the whole show. This is not his business. Go back and worry about the red shift. Worry about the expansion of the where it started, the Big Bang. Worry about that.
Yeah, don't worry about what happens in a black hole whenever you get sucked in and the molecular structure that gets reconfigured. You know,
Go do that. Don't worry about the
explore
Holy
your
Spirit.
portal of
He's
theory.
trying to lecture us on the Holy Spirit. He's a non-believer on his way to hell. What is he doing?
Right.
The problem is, first off, what is the benefit of that happening publicly? And secondly, you do happen to have a person who at least has a declared inability, and that individual is seemingly outnumbered by about 3 people.
It's not a good look.
Well, so when Ayden called in to Logan's defense, I think it was perfectly natural for people to sympathize with Ayden because Logan did appear to be and was outnumbered. So my point in saying that was this. I don't think that Steven hates Logan. It is obvious to me that there is some unresolved stuff between the two of them. I don't have the history with Logan and Steven that they have with each other. I don't have the history with Logan that Ayden has with him. So I can't claim to understand this in the same depth that they understand it.
Yeah, I don't have this knowledge of the history either. Go on.
Well, my whole point is it's hard for me to jump in and say, yeah, this side's right or that side's right, because I don't know these people as well as they know each other. I know that from the outside looking in, it looked unfair toward Logan. And I know that it could have and should have been handled differently. That's not to say that Steven didn't have the right to remove Logan from the panel. He absolutely did. It just wasn't handled the right way. Now, Ayden coming on to stand up for Logan was the right thing to do. I think probably for the sake of peace, it's almost in Logan's best interest to avoid that show, whether he's invited back or not. Now, obviously, that's at his discretion, not mine. And it's at Steven's discretion as the moderator. But because of the history, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Logan, start trying to respond. Go ahead.
Please, Logan, go ahead.
I won't go on that show anymore with Steven. I'm done with Steven. He's a bully. He try to act all high and mighty all the time. But I need to tell you something. Brian, Stump, Christian, and Lupin, and Chuck, you're all good guys, but I don't want anything to do with Steven anymore. I forgive him the last time he was mean to me, and he just did it again. I'm done with Steven. I don't want anything to do with him.
Ayden wishes to come back on to make an apology. So everyone else has been apologizing. If he sways from apologizing, I'll have to let him go again. But here's Ayden.
Chuck, so just so you know, I'm not going to be part of that. He promised first time not to do that. I'm not playing with this guy. It's none of his business, first of all. So I'll talk to you brothers later.
Hey friends, how's it going? I just wanted to say, now look, I will apologize to Chuck. Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I know.
Logan, go ahead.
What I hear from him, he has problems. So I don't. Oh, sorry.
Well, no, he does. Yeah. Absolutely, he does. And I find it. Well, you know what? I'll get into that later. I do want to start. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure. I will apologize to Chuck and for his platform, not because I lied, because I didn't lie. What Stump said about me lying isn't true, and Chuck can back that up because he was also there. He was also a witness. I never said that I wouldn't get personal. Now, that's not to say that me getting personal was a good thing. It was bad of me to get personal the way that I did. I agree with that. But I never said I wouldn't get personal. I said I wouldn't swear. I didn't swear. I kept to that. So him saying that I wouldn't do that, that's not true. And Chuck is a witness to that. So that being said, I'm not sorry to Steven, I'm sorry to Chuck, and I'm sorry to his platform for getting too personal. But The single thing I said there was not a lie. It was not an untruth, so I am sorry for pushing it too far in the discourse. I got too passionate, I got too emotional, and I have the tendency to do that when these sorts of things come up, simply because when it comes to the degradation of a human being upon any basis whatsoever, I think that the human being, and you could call it, I don't think it is, but you could go ahead and call it a religious view, but I think the human being is sacrosanct in the fact that it's not supposed to be degraded in the way that Logan was. We're all supposed to treat each other with empathy, and we're all supposed to treat each other with common decency. And that's not what happened. And the fact that Steven did not take and I'm not saying that he's the most responsible, because that's not true. Dustin is obviously the most responsible, because he's the one that said the words that he did. Alright, there's no denying that on my end.
Right.
Steven is also responsible because it was his platform. He did not do a single thing to try and tone down the conversation, redirect the conversation towards more friendly ground. He did nothing, and the reason why he didn't do anything is because he was the one that allowed that conversation to happen in the first place by nature of him telling Dustin that Logan was trying to instigate fights. And you know what that does? That takes the onus off of Dustin in terms of responsibility. That's Steven saying, oh, Dustin, it's not your fault that you got into that conflict with Bruce. It's not your fault. It's actually Logan's fault. So he's actively putting the blame onto Logan while also trying to simultaneously act like that's not what he's doing. And that's why I got frustrated in that interaction, because I was holding his feet to the fire and asking him to admit his culpability, and he did not whatsoever. He did not. So I am frustrated with him because that is not what somebody who is honest does. That is not the actions of an honest person. And that is going to frustrate me because I want to deal with honest people. Now, you can go ahead and listen to Stump if you want and say that that's a lie, but let me ask you, Chuck, honestly. Did I lie with what I said? Did I say, once again, I'll qualify it. It's not to say that I was right in getting personal, but did I say, I'm not going to get personal with Steven?
No, you never uttered those words. No.
No, I didn't. I said I wasn't going to swear because I have no shame in admitting this. I am primarily concerned about respecting Charles's platform because I do not respect Steven. I do not respect him, and I do not respect anything that he stands upon because I don't think he stands on anything. If he wants to kick me off his show, it's his show. It's his onus to do whatever he wants with it, and that's the funny thing. He keeps bringing that up as if that's a contention. That's not a contention. He's bringing that up as a straw man argument. I've never made that argument that he doesn't have the right to do that. That is an erroneous argument against nothing, because that's not what's in contention. And we're not saying that he doesn't have the right to conduct himself that way. What we're saying is that the actions with which he conducted himself with were reprehensible, and he refuses to take responsibility for that. That's why I'm upset. That's why I'm frustrated. Because if I make a mistake, if I am wrong in doing something, I will admit to people, and my actions over the course of all these shows that Steven's talking about, where I'm allegedly such a horrible person, you can go back. If I make a mistake, or if I contradict myself, I am the first person to admit that I was wrong. I have no problem admitting that I am wrong. I have no problem admitting when I'm mistaken. And that's because I would like to think that I'm an intellectually honest person who conducts himself in good faith when having conversations with people. And Steven can try and belittle me all he wants, saying I'm a 22-year-old boy that just hates God and is a minister of Baal or whatever. He can say that all he wants. That doesn't take away from my actions, because my actions speak for themselves. And what my actions say is that if I say something and if I have a conviction towards something, I will follow through with that conviction. Steven cannot make the same claim. Alright? He cannot. And I won't, but I have plenty of examples of why that is the case. And I won't drag it on anymore if we want to move on past this. I've said my piece. And yet Dustin wasn't the one that came to these conclusions. This is the thing that I want to point out for everybody, and this is very important to the entirety of the context of this. Dustin wasn't the one that came to these conclusions. He wasn't the one that decided that Logan was the one that was trying to instigate. Someone else had to intercede and tell Dustin those things in order for him to confront Logan the way that he did. Yes, but he directly did say, though, on the show, to be fair, that the reason why he was talking about this was because Steven messaged him and told him these things. That is what he said, and you can go back and watch the show. He does say that, and like you said, I wish that he was on so that he could speak for himself, because ultimately speaking, I want anybody that I'm talking about to speak for themselves. They have the right to face their accuser.
Hey guys, I don't know who it is that has the cross as their avatar.
That's Mark Stoney. How could you not know Mark Stoney?
Well, I'm sorry, I have seen him before and met him before, but maybe he changed his avatar. Yeah, but hey, good to see you too, Mark. And I'm just gonna eat a few wings here while I listen to you guys. And
I just wanted to say something real quick. I don't have much time. I've got company.
Okay.
But I didn't watch that show live, so I wasn't able to experience the raw emotions as it went down. But I did watch it a few hours later. And
I have to watch it again myself. Go ahead.
From what I saw and from what I know to be true and evidence that I've viewed myself, you guys that were a part of that ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Ryan, you laughed at a joke about, or Dustin's analogy about tying a trash bag around Logan's neck so that he knows he's in the garbage, and that made you chuckle. I thought that was pretty shameful. Chuck, you didn't say anything. Chuck, you didn't say anything the whole time, and we've already spoken about that, so I'm not going to go too far.
And I've apologized to all the atheists.
But the fact of the matter is that you guys know that Logan is autistic. That's no secret. I mean, come on. How long have you been hanging around Logan? The people that were involved knew. Steven knows. Steven claims that Logan's faking it. Steven's known Logan just as long as I have, just as long as Ayden has. This isn't a fake. This isn't a charade. He's not a troll. He's definitely not an atheist. And I've seen conversation back and forth, these group messages that you guys would share with each other. Steven commanding Logan in Jesus' name to reveal his true identity, making outright claims that he does not believe that Logan is who he says he is. So they know. He knew that Logan is autistic. He's denying that. And what happened in that show was a bunch of bullies ganging up, or a couple of bullies ganging up on a 35-year-old autistic man. And Dustin went into it with no information. He even admitted it in his little diatribe that he had no idea what it was that Logan did. But it was evident that Steven had given him some kind of backstory and got Dustin fired up, which isn't hard to do. It's not hard to fire up Dustin. Steven knows that. He took advantage. He exploited and manipulated Dustin's rage against Logan. And why? Why would he do such a thing? You want to talk about what blaspheming the Holy Spirit is and using the Lord's name in vain? When you're commanding somebody in Jesus' name that they share their true identity when you know who that person is, just for show, it's shameful. It's absolutely disgusting. And I think everybody involved should repent. I think you all owe Logan an apology, a sincere one. And that's really all I got to say about it. And like I said, I've got company tonight, so I can't stay on here long. If you guys want to ask me a couple of questions, I probably got about 10 minutes. Well, there was an understanding that something was going to happen, right? Because I think it was you. No, it was Steven said, we're doing this now. And Chuck, you said, oh boy, here we go. Yeah, it was very evident that there was an acknowledgement of something about to take place, some sort of intervention.
Yeah. And as far as Steven, if it weren't for him, I would not be here right now. It is because of Steven and what he did for me that I am here. Okay. Well, and so I will always be loyal to Steven.
Well, no, but you're saying that you're not choosing a side, though. But I mean, like, it's clear that one side was righteous
I love
and one
both of those
wasn't in
people.
this dispute.
Well, listen, you don't have to choose a side. You don't have to lean towards the person. But what you do have to do is judge righteous judgment. And what happened the other night was clearly a travesty. That was inappropriate, uncalled for, and shameful, in my opinion.
Hey, welcome back, Steven.
Hey, guys. So let me start by saying that was not my show. That was Ryan's show.
It was on your channel,
I had full intention of handling that situation behind the scenes. The night I banned him, I tried to do it without making it a big deal, but Ryan kept asking me about it while we were live, forcing me to address it. So I had to address it when I was trying to keep it behind closed doors where I think these matters
You banned
belong.
Logan for asking if you partied hard at DAL.
No, that was the final draw. This has been 2 years of collective issues I've had with Logan. This was not something that was decided overnight.
You've been paranoid
you guys are
about
missing
Logan
that.
being because Brett Keane.
That is irrelevant.
I have a question for you.
It is irrelevant. I can have whoever I want on my shows.
Nobody said you
period.
couldn't.
Well, you're saying it right
That's not the
now
point.
because
That's
you're
not the point.
demonizing
No,
me for
I
making
don't
that
care if you
decision.
I've been telling Logan to stay away from you. I don't care if you have.
I wish you would still tell him that. I really do.
And were you aware that Logan had autism diagnosed?
I'm not 100%. I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sold on that.
Yeah, you don't believe it, Steven. You think it's fake.
I just
You
admitted
think it's
that,
fake.
Aiden.
Yeah,
No,
that
you
just
think it's
goes
fake.
to.
I literally
my
just
statement
admitted that.
before you went off on a tangent about it's your show. Nobody cares if it's your show. That's not the point.
Well, obviously you guys do, because when I decided not to have someone on my show, it became a big deal for you all.
You can say that all you want. That's not your point. That's not the point we're making. What I'm saying is that you have some kind of paranoia about Logan, that he's lying about his autism, lying about
Mark, if that's the case, and if if Logan is aware that I already have this, what you call paranoia, then why is he so abstinent about being on my panel?
Because he
Can you
wants
please
to hang out
explain
with
that
you
to
guys.
me?
He wants to be your friend.
He still has the ability to hang out with all of us on Stump Show and Ryan's show
This whole,
and Chuck's
corporate
show.
veil you've got going on, this little shell game with all these different little shows. It's your channel, Steve. You're the one that pays the supposed $200 a month for all this stuff.
It has nothing to do with the fact that I came to a decision on my own that I don't trust Logan. I don't appreciate how he disrupts certain conversations. We've had private conversations where I've asked him to stop. He's even been banned from my channel previously. So none of this is new.
So ban him from your show and leave it at that. Don't bring your little attack
Brother,
dog
I would love to leave it at
to
that. I
insult
would
him
absolutely
and
love
malign
it
him
at
the
that.
way he did.
You
and
didn't
stood there and supported
First of
everything
all,
he said.
none of that episode was my decision. That entire show
come
was
on, have a
Ryan's choice.
backbone.
It's your
and
channel.
even then, I didn't know that we were doing it. That's why I said on the video,
Have a
we're doing this
backbone.
now.
Let
I
me ask you
expected
something,
it to be
Steven.
handled in private.
Let me ask you something, Steven. If one of your other show hosts happens to violate YouTube standards, who's going to be punished, them or you?
Me.
You, exactly,
Yeah.
because it's your channel. You
Okay.
can't just shirk responsibility by saying, "Oh, it's not my show."
I'm not shirking
You are the one
responsibility. I
syndicating
took
That's
full
what you've been doing all
responsibility.
night. You've been doing that all night.
Falls back
How
on
have
you.
I done that?
It falls on you because you're playing
Sure.
a shell game.
I will
You're
play
playing a
that.
shell game.
It's fine. Then it's on
You're
me,
playing-
Mark.
It
Does
is
that
on
change
you.
the point that I do not want Logan on my show?
I don't care if you don't want Logan on your
Okay.
show.
That hasn't
Well,
been
then
the topic
fine.
of the
Everyone-
conversation.
That
That
has
is
never been the
never
Everything that was said to
That's
Logan,
never been the point. You're
everything that was said to
obfuscating the
Logan, I
You're
take
ob-
upon myself. It's not Dustin's fault. It's not Ryan's fault for having that be the center point of the episode. I take it upon myself because it's my channel.
Sure.
Logan,
there you go. Now
I love you.
apologize to
I'm
Logan.
sorry. You are still not invited on my panel. But like I told you in the last episode, already multiple times, I hope you still hang out on Ryan's show. I hope you still hang out on Stump's show. I hope you still hang out on Father Chuck's show.
So you're sorry for just sitting there and not doing anything while he
Sure.
was building.
I'm sorry for just sitting there while you were berated and not putting an end to it like I should have.
There we
I'm
go.
sorry, Logan.
That's all we were asking for. There
Okay.
we go. There we
Cool.
go.
And to that, I appreciate your apology, Logan. I hope you accept it in its sincerity. I would still advise you to stay away from that den of vipers.
Yep.
And
And Logan,
and
the
find a better
situation
community
hasn't
to help
changed. You're still not invited to my show.
Yeah, because you
That's
still think he's
good,
faking
and I
his
don't
autism.
want to go on.
I'm not sold on it yet.
And I don't want to talk to you anymore. You ever on any show? I won't go on there. You're a bully. You're mean. You try to act holy and righteous, but you're very mean.
Mm-hmm.
Lie about me. Said I start fights with Dustin and Ayden and Mark, and Dustin and Mark. I didn't do that. That's a foul lie. You lied about me. That's show what type of character.
You won't apologize for that, though.
I'm waiting until Logan. Are you finished, Logan?
Almost up. Your fruits there show you for what you are. I try to be nice to you and loving to you. But the time when people didn't want to be your friend, you said no one wants to be friend. I try to be friend to you and be nice, loving, like I do to everyone. But you turn your back on me and been mean to me for no good reason and make up lies. Oh man, you're insanely paranoid. I forgive you first time. I thought you stopped being like that, but then it pops up again. I try to be nice and loving to everyone, but you don't want that. You're very mean. So no, I don't want to go on your show. Chuck show, yeah, but your show, no.
Hey, are you still going?
That's it.
Okay. I'm sorry that those are the ways that you feel, Logan. I understand why you feel that way. You called me on a personal phone call one time, and you were asking me about something that had happened on the show, and you were telling me that I'm a really nice guy because you were asking me about Aaron Raw. If I would let Aaron Raw on my show, and I told you, yeah, we need to pray for him. And you said, oh, you're a really nice guy. And then someone next to you said, stay on point. And then you jumped right back into no, sir, please allow me to speak, Logan. That's the first time. That's the first time I started suspecting that there was something off. There have been other times since then where I've caught you slipping. I don't trust you, Logan. I do not trust you. I honestly didn't want to invite you back on my show last time, but I got strong-armed into it because a whole bunch of atheists that I had never met before made a group call and started harassing me and blowing me up for bullying you.
Just keep shirking
Can I please have like 10 more seconds, Ayden? And then you can call me a worthless loser and talk about whatever you want.
You said it, not me. Go ahead.
Logan, I think it's a terrific idea for you to keep me blocked. I think it's honestly what's best for the brethren. So I'm sorry you feel that way about me. I hope you forgive me one day. I have no ill feelings towards you, but I do not trust you, Logan. I do not trust you.
Are you done?
Yes.
I told you I was watching a show with Ken Ova versus some guy, I forgot, and they were keeping it. What he said was,
I don't trust you, Logan.
Why?
Because that was the first time. Do you remember about 2 weeks ago when I sent every?
He's trying to explain.
I'm trying to explain to him the other situation.
But hold on, though. You made it.
Pastor Chuck, I put Ayden in the back for just a moment so I can finish this with Logan, if you don't mind, and then I will allow him to come back. I didn't kick him out or anything, but he won't let me speak to Logan. Logan, there was another situation not long ago. It was just a couple weeks ago where I started having suspicion arose again because I started listening to the shows and hearing how you were instigating arguments, and it just makes me really uncomfortable, Logan. It just does.
How?
And you don't trust me. I don't trust you. I don't understand why it's so important for us to hang out if we don't trust each other. I think it's silly.
I'm like you. I try to be nice and loving to everyone, and what fights I start? All the fights you tell me are lies.
Logan, I don't have time in the day to go back through 2 years worth of episodes to show you.
You're making the
Okay, so look, even if I don't have any proof whatsoever, I don't trust you, Logan. I don't want you on my show.
He's
Logan.
got no proof.
I told you I don't want to be on your show anymore. I don't want.
I have anyone out here. Go watch all of my lives from the last 2 weeks, and you'll have all the proof you need.
Conjecture.
Ayden is not being fair. I'm not being treated fairly. I'm gonna leave again. You guys have a good night.
I've been here on a number of times, and Logan has interrupted
I heard
a few times.
he did say, and I don't think he realized he had his mic unmuted before he left. He said, "This is," and I'm quoting, "This is bullshit," is what he said. He said, "This is bullshit." So I think his whole high and mighty routine that he's trying to play here of getting all upset at me for swearing.
Dustin has entered the arena. Hey, Dustin.
Are you ready? Are you ready to put your dukes up, Dustin?
Bro, I was born with my dukes up.
Okay.
Bring it on.
There
Dustin, I've just got to say, dude, like, just on the outset, I lost a lot of respect for you with your interaction that you had with Logan, and I say that out of honesty. What you did and the way that you handled that conversation with Logan was disgusting. There was a far more productive way that you could have handled that conversation, and you just immediately from the onset laced it with hatred and derision, and I think that led things down the road that they did. Now, I don't think that you did that in of yourself. I think that Stephen Bowlin, led you to have the feelings that you, not because you're not your own man, you came to your own conclusions, but you came to those conclusions off of what Stephen said. You wouldn't have come to those conclusions, as far as my understanding is concerned, if Stephen didn't say what he did to you. So even though I'm disgusted with you, Dustin, for what you said, I understand that you were misled, and that does take some of that off, but some of that disgust. But regardless, the way that you handled that was horrible. What you did to Logan was awful, and I hope that you realize that.
So Ayden, look, dude, what it sounded like, what I said, okay, the only thing I really did was I came to the man with the truth. I didn't sugarcoat it. I didn't let the man have a booger on his face so everybody else could ignore it. I brought exactly what was brought to me to his face, and I didn't treat him any different than I would anybody else. So you can be as disgusted as you want, man. The reality is I didn't lie to the man, nor did I hold back anything that was told to me to my face about him.
And
I brought it straight.
And I will say as well, sorry, I will let you finish, but I will say as well, for your sake, that I am glad that you revealed what you did, as far as the fact that it wasn't just you that did that, because Steven wasn't going to reveal that. So I'm glad that you brought that to the public's attention, simply because you brought forward the information that was given to you. I understand that. I get that, but I just wanted to make that clear. Go ahead and keep going.
Well, okay, Ayden, for sake of argument, what kind of gloves should I have had on?
I think you should have given Logan the benefit of the doubt, and the reason why I think you should have given Logan the benefit of the doubt is because you said so yourself on the show, that you didn't have anything specifically, you didn't have any one specific point that you had to go on Logan. You just had the assertion that was made to you that he was trying to start discord. And I've gone back and I've seen what happened between you and Bruce, and I'm sorry, but you are the only one that bears responsibility for your actions there. I know that you're a hothead. I know that. But at the same time, you were the one that got upset with Bruce. It is your responsibility the way that you conducted yourself with Bruce. It is not Logan's responsibility in any way, shape, or form. And I felt like you were trying to take the responsibility off of Logan and try to put off of yourself and put it onto Logan.
Dude, I didn't have any responsibility. If anything, like I said, I brought it straight to his face.
No, that's
I
not
didn't
the point
sugarcoat it.
That's not
no,
the
but
point.
but I understand what you're saying. Okay, look, I didn't do anything to Logan. The consequences that befell Logan had literally nothing to do with me. I brought the case. I didn't encourage Steven to kick him off. I know what I said to him.
Well, I didn't say that. I didn't say that you encouraged him to kick him off. You just said things like, you alluded to him tying a garbage bag around his neck so that he could fucking float. Or sorry, he's freaking.
I would have said the same thing to you, Ayden.
Well, hold
Ayden,
on.
I would have said the same thing to you.
Hold on. Just because you would have said the same thing to me doesn't make it right, Dustin. That doesn't make it moral or ethical or right that you would have said the same thing to me. That just simply means that you would have handled it. the same way in either instance, and that's not fair because I'm not somebody who's autistic. I'm not somebody who has a different ability to socialize with people, and you made it clear yourself with the fact that you alluded that you're a hothead, that you understand that people with conditions can interact in different ways and can be led astray more easily than somebody who does not have a condition. So with that being said, with Logan having autism, I don't know why you didn't afford him that very same treatment. You want him to treat you different because you're a hothead. Why don't you treat him different because he's autistic?
No, I don't.
Well,
Aiden, I couldn't care less how I'm treated.
Why did
I couldn't care less how I'm treated.
You said that on the show. You said you know full well. You said you know full well that I'm a hothead, and you went ahead and tried to instigate a fight between me and Bruce. So you are alluding to the fact when you say that you are somebody, through the virtue of you being a hothead, are more susceptible to getting frustrated in those circumstances than somebody who is not a hothead. The same applies as far as different ways of socializing. I'm just about done. The same applies in terms of different socialization to somebody who's autistic. You have to handle somebody who's a hothead different than somebody who isn't. The same way you have to handle somebody who's autistic differently than somebody who isn't, because that's a condition that person cannot control. Go ahead.
I'm going to say this once. I don't treat anybody different. Nobody.
Dustin, were you aware that Gangster Ghost had autism?
I was under the impression that he kind of had something going on. He's never talked to me about it, and I don't take anything that anybody says. No, he's never said anything to me about it, and I never take anything that anybody else says to 100%. How would I know that about Logan?
Hold on.
Logan, go ahead and ask
Logan. I just want to ask. That's what I was about to do. I was literally just about to do that, Dustin, because I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Logan.
Go ahead. He's never told me that.
Have you never told him that? Is that true?
I'm not sure. I'm here.
You're here. Okay, buddy.
I don't know. I don't remember everything I talked about. I don't think so.
Well, I don't remember everything I talk about either, buddy. So.
Do you ever remember?
I would have remembered.
Do you ever remember discussing with? Because I certainly don't get into these conversations very often. But do you remember discussing with Dustin if you had autism or not? Have you ever told him outright that you did? You did.
I don't remember. I don't think so.
You don't think so? So Dustin, would it be fair to say that you did not know 100% for a fact that he had autism? Would that be fair?
No, I didn't know anything. The only thing I know about Logan is that we were on the same panel together. That's literally it. Like he has my phone number, and he's called me a couple of times. That is the extent of knowledge that I have into Logan, Gangster Ghost.
So when you say what you did, though, and I only bring this up because you mentioned that you would say the same thing to me. So would you say the same thing to me as far as if we got into an instigation, if we got into an argument, which we have before? I've never heard you say things to me before like, I don't want to be the one that's responsible for you killing yourself because you have nothing else going on
I said
in your life.
calling it. If you're being accurate, it would be call a suicide line.
Sorry,
okay,
call suicide line. No, you're right. You are right there.
At that point, I had been informed that Logan, quote unquote, claims to be, okay, all right,
claims to be
autistic.
Well, no, he doesn't claim to be. He has a diagnosis. He has a diagnosis.
Real quick.
Okay, look, the way it was described to me is that he claims to be. That was the information that I had.
No, fair enough. The person who described it to you was Stephen Bowlin, who thinks that Logan's faking his autism and won't admit that. But go ahead, Christian.
Just real quick, Dustin, the suggestion that I had made originally was not that people should apologize for their opinion about the controversy. Specifically Logan either being restricted or not restricted in certain chat situations. The apology I think that is necessary is for the handling of it, because it did seem for all intents and purposes to be that a person with disabilities was being ganged up on, and it was a bad look.
And to be fair,
I don't care what it looks like.
We're we're trying to give
Well, it's
you
also what it was.
We're trying to give you a benefit of the doubt here, Dustin. We're trying to give you the benefit that you are not aware that the Gangster Ghost has this condition. You know, because if you didn't
listen to me.
That could lead you to handle.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Handle a situation a certain way. But go ahead,
bro. It wouldn't have mattered either way. I would have handled that situation. I would talk to everybody, anybody, my mother, my grandmother, anybody, exactly the same damn way.
So
I don't care what anybody thinks.
You would talk to a person with autism that way?
Lupin, hold on just a second. Hey,
I talk to everybody the same way.
Dustin, have you considered that that's a shame? Have you ever considered that you're wrong about some things?
Dude, if I'm wrong, then everybody's wrong. You know what's a shame? You know what's a shame, Christian? You know what's a shame? Is hiding behind your fucking pleasantries and trying to pretend like there's nothing wrong and not telling somebody the truth.
The way you speak to an autistic person was a shame.
Hey, Lupin,
I will talk to anybody the same because it's the truth. I told them the truth. The truth came out of my mouth. I do not care. Dude, I just told him the truth.
Just real quick, you guys can have it back. I've been pretty quiet through this whole thing. Dustin, I'm not contending with the fact that you had something reasonable as far as your opinion about the situation. You may well be able to make the argument that in some situations it's best to restrict someone like Logan in certain conversations. That's not what we're discussing. We're discussing
that wasn't even my argument.
Hey, shut up real quick. We're discussing how ugly and mean-spirited it was.
Dude, again, I don't know how many times I can say this. I do not care. The thing that I did was tell Logan, are you going to let me speak? Are you going to let me speak?
Someone like
dude, listen to me. Listen. It was not my decision. If you go back and listen to what I said, I didn't claim anything. I laid it out exactly as it was presented to me. The way that it was described was Logan is pretending to be a certain way to start fights to keep himself from being bored.
And who laid this out to you?
Steven.
Exactly. So you know what? I just want to say it. For everybody that's watching this, Steven, the fact that you refuse to say this publicly, the fact that you refuse to say that you think that Logan is faking his autism in order to start fights proves that you don't stand by your convictions, Steven. You don't actually, at least Dustin, I will say, even though I lost some respect for Dustin for what he did, I can at least respect him for the fact that he stands by his convictions, even if it makes him look bad. You bend in the wind in a way that is truly shameful for the mark of somebody who claims to be a Christian. You bend.
Ayden,
so
I think, Ayden, dude, come on, man. Come off of that self-righteousness for a second, buddy.
No.
I love you to death.
No, hold on a minute. I'm not done because trust me, I've got plenty to say to you, Dustin. I've got plenty to say to you. But I only want to point that out because he refused to make that claim publicly on this stream. So I am demonstrating to everybody in the audience that he is not consistent. As far as you're concerned, Dustin, the fact that you just admitted that you would handle those two things the same regardless of the circumstance, that shows that you don't have empathy for those people because you're not willing to change your actual actions towards them in that circumstance. You may think of that as being equal or
what actions? I said some things that he didn't want to hear. Man, if that's the judgment that you're going to be putting on people, you need to go back to kindergarten and start smacking his teachers around. Okay? If you think for 1 second that he's going to go the rest of his life, if you think for 1 second he's going to the rest of his life without hearing something,
mute him.
Dustin, I don't want to throw you out. Okay. Now look, I've timed it. You've spoken 5 minutes. Ayden now has 5 minutes.
Dustin, the reason why I say what I do about that is because You are the one that said that Logan is trying to start fights and instigate things. Now, did you directly say that? No, I agree you didn't directly say that. But anybody who watches that will agree that you strongly implied that that was the case. And you kept hammering, even though you
was
didn't
brought to my
have
attention that way.
have any specific evidence, though, to point out that that was the case. What happened, Dustin, was Steven manipulated your emotions and manipulated the fact that you are a hot-tempered person and set you against a fellow brother in
That is
Christ
not.
on no basis whatsoever. On no basis besides the fact that he personally does not like Logan. He has those contentions about Logan faking his condition and is bored, so he feels the need to rile other people up towards Logan and set them against him. And I'm sorry you were made the victim of that, I'm sorry you were made the victim of that, Dustin, but that is exactly what happened. He manipulated you.
Can I make one more short statement?
Yes.
Or two more short statements. Statement number one, Dustin, I apologize. I should not have gotten hot-headed. I was just trying to express the difference in you having an opinion about the situation that was being handled and the way that it was handled. You have every right to your opinion about the situation that was handled. So I was not contesting that at all. I'm simply contesting the way that it was handled. Secondly, I don't think it's fair the way that Ayden's framing it to just totally give you a pass. I do think you were wrong for the way that you handled it.
No, I'm not giving him a pass. I'm not giving him a pass. I'm saying that it has to be understood that he was led to believe this, that this isn't just something that he came up with in a vacuum. That's not saying that he's innocent. He is definitely...
Okay, I understand the distinction that you're making.
Okay, I think that's an important distinction to make because he is far from bereft of responsibility. I think that Dustin has more responsibility in this than Steven does, without a doubt, because he's the one that actually said all of the cruel and hateful things that he said towards Logan. And they were cruel and hateful things, and it plenty.
They were also true.
No, they
can
weren't.
can we include true somewhere in that statement?
You have no right to make that claim that it was true when you have no specific evidence to back that up whatsoever besides someone's conjecture. That is what you are operating on right now, and you said yourself that that's what you're operating on. It's someone else's conjecture. So, if that is what you were operating on, Dustin, that's what you've got at your disposal, you did not make the claim that we're trying in some way, shape, or form to divert this in any way, shape, or form. Like, I don't understand why you are so hesitant to simply own up to your own actions and apologize. You always talk to other people about taking responsibility.
I'm not going to apologize for anything.
Take responsibility for your own actions, Dustin.
I am. Dude, I'm going to say this again. I brought the truth, what was said to me. I didn't change the story, not one little bit. I did what nobody else did. I told the man the truth.
You believed it unscrupulously.
No. Listen to me, Ayden. Listen. I didn't say what Gangster Ghost was doing. Okay? No, I wasn't claiming that Gangster Ghost was doing these things. I was telling him what other people were saying. I brought it right to his face.
Dustin, you did say that you were personally privy to several times that he did that.
I was there when he did it, but that's not the point. That's not the fucking point. Excuse me. That's not the point. The point is, I had no control over whether or not he was kicked out. So I brought the problem to his attention. I told him the truth. The truth. You may not have liked the way I said it. Personally, I don't care. But the thing that you guys are ignoring is that I brought exactly what was put in front of me straight to Logan. I didn't filter it.
Truth, though. You're conflating that.
No,
with the truth,
no, I'm not. I'm not.
You just
I told
said
him
that you
exactly
brought the
what
truth.
Yeah, I brought
said
of what was said to me. Of what was said to me. What was said to me? I didn't say what he did. You guys can be as mad at me all you want for as rude as I was. Fine, whatever. You might even have an argument to back that up. But the reality is I did for Logan for what I wish any one of the kids that were biting, pissing on me, beating me as a little child because I was a little different. Someone who would have just sat me down and told me why. But that never happened. So you know what I did? I took pity on Logan. I told him what people were saying about him, and I was honest about it. Now everybody's mad. Guess what? I don't care.
Hey, can I have a quick comment before Ayden takes back over?
Yeah, you go ahead, Christian.
Dustin,
You have the rest of the time. I've spoken my piece.
Well, just give me a second. What you just said caught my attention because even though I may disagree with the methodology, and I do disagree with the methodology, if that really is your motive, if you really were trying to give him a form of tough love that you thought was best, I can sympathize with that.
Well, I don't know what you guys think. What do you guys actually freaking think? What was I trying to do? You think I was trying to beat up some guy? I don't even know the dude. I just told him the truth. You guys are nuts. You guys are freaking blown in the head.
Are you yourself a Christian, Dustin?
Yes.
Okay, so you are a Christian. Do you believe, as a Christian, that there is a certain kind of conduct that you are supposed to conduct yourself by when dealing with fellow Christians?
If there is a certain conduct, I was never taught about it. And even if that is the case, I don't see what that would have to do with salvation issues. Well, in any relevance of the situation. You must understand, I was not brought up in civilized conversation or civilized in civilization. I was brought up around bikers who would just as soon beat you in your face as try and correct you about a mannerism.
Okay, and I appreciate you making the distinction, but the reason why I say what I do is because Now, I'm not going to act like I'm in anywhere near the same situation as you growing up, because it wasn't anywhere close to that bad. But I grew up in poverty. I grew up living a life growing up where I didn't always have food security or housing security. So there was some struggles there. So I understand that as far as what you're saying, that your experiences mold you, and they mold your way of perceiving the world. But I just want to point out to you, and you can take this with as much or as little a grain of salt as you want coming from an atheist, but the point of being a Christian, from my personal experience, is doing your very best to transcend that, to transcend the struggles that you yourself face, and the hatred and the anger and the frustration, or whatever it might be, that is lurking within. It is the goal of a Christian to try and transcend those difficulties, whether or not they exist, no matter how much or little do exist. It is the transcension of those things which is considered to be Christ-like. Am I wrong in that?
If you're right or you're wrong, I wouldn't know. Okay? I don't have studies into every field or facet of Christianity. But you know something? I'm doing my best. Okay? And with regards to anything else, I only did the best that I could. All right? I was brought a problem. I was presented a problem from 3 different people. This isn't just one person. 3 different people came to me with this one singular issue, and I did. I reached out. I tried to make amends with Steven.
May I ask who it was that came to you with this problem?
No, I'm not disclosing names. I'm not giving out any information. I'm not that kind of person.
I'm not saying for you to rat on people. I'm asking you because it's pertinent to the conversation. Because if there's people that are going to go and make claims about Logan behind closed doors, then they should have the temerity to be able to at least identify themselves. So you don't have to make that
I brought it right to his. I brought it right to his face. I told him. But look, that's the thing. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to get across to everybody here, right? Like Logan, really. I'm sorry I said some things that made you upset, right? But if I didn't have any other way to make the damn point more clear, I mean, I had to tell you, and I didn't want you to think I was joking.
I'm glad you've at least apologized if you made him upset, because that's probably, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's probably the closest you're gonna get, Logan, from a full-fledged apology from Dustin. And I sympathize with you, Dustin, as far as you having difficult circumstances, because even though, like I said, I totally admit I've never had anything as rough as what you described. I understand growing up in harsh circumstances, and I know that that can negatively impact your views, and it's tough. It's genuinely difficult crawling out of that mentality and trying to better yourself, but I do encourage you, one man to another, to try and see the fault in your approach and try, and you said you try your best, so I hope you do. I hope you try your best to genuflect and have introspection regarding what happened here, and maybe come to a different approach as far as how you handle this, because I think that would be the Christ-like thing to do.
Dustin, what I was trying to do a minute ago, it may have come across the wrong way, so I apologize if I didn't make it clear. I was actually trying to give you the benefit of the doubt because some of your comments let me know that you may very well have had much better intentions than I realized. So I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt of sympathizing with Logan and trying to give him what you felt was the right thing. I'm not contesting that. But, we're all adults. We can't have a chat that's public where a person with disabilities has 4 people ganging up on him. You know how that looks.
Dude, Christian, for the love of God, man.
Really?
For the love of God, Christian, I wasn't beating up on Logan. I wasn't picking on him.
You were.
No, I had the balls. I don't care what everybody agrees on.
That was your big guts to stand up to a guy with disabilities. That was your toughness.
I didn't stand up to. No, I wasn't standing up to anybody. I brought the truth to his face.
You were bullying.
If I wanted to bully Logan, I wouldn't have started with, Jesus. That you start. No, look, I wouldn't have gone that route. I don't want to say what I would have said. Because you guys have no idea. You think, dude, if I wanted to make fun, dude, you don't even want to go down that road. You don't want to hear, I'm not going to. Christian, I'm not going to. If I wanted to make fun of you people, dude, if I wanted to, I would, but I don't. That's not the person I am. You guys are, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what Logan. I told you the truth, dude. Hey, hold on, Christian. I'm talking to Logan. Logan, I told you the truth, dude. All right, you may not have liked what I said, but I didn't like what I was hearing. I don't care. I genuinely do not care what anybody else thinks, dude. Go ahead, make me a mark for whoever thinks that they have something to say. I don't. I genuinely.
If you didn't care, you wouldn't be here, Dustin. You wouldn't be here right now if you didn't care. So don't sit there and BS me, Dustin. Don't do that. Don't.
I'm not talking about care. Would you listen, Ayden? I'm not talking. Holy shit. I don't care about what you think. All right. I do, however, happen to care about what Logan thinks. But that's got nothing to do with anybody else's opinion. You guys can think whatever you want of me. I told you the truth, Logan. You may not have liked what I had to say, but I brought it to your face. Now you know what people think. Now you know what people were saying behind your back.
You're so righteous.
That's the bottom line, dude.
Righteous.
Dude, that's what I was doing. I was being righteous, or maybe I was just telling him the truth. Maybe that's all I was doing.
I think that your summation of things is very funny coming from somebody who says so often for other people to take responsibility, because you
I am, dude.
Hold on. I'm not done.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it, Ayden.
You are the one who was responsible for fighting with Bruce. At any point in your confrontation with Bruce, you as your own man could have made the decision to have conducted yourself differently. That was on you, sir. The onus of your actions are solely on yourself. And when you hear, whether it's because you've heard it from other people or you came to the conclusion yourself, it is still not true and reprehensible to claim that somebody else bears that responsibility by virtue of some vague stirring of the pot or some vague instigation that can't even be specifically called out. That's the point I want to hammer home to everybody before I give the floor back to Dustin. There's nothing specifically that has been called out that has caused all of this kerfuffle. It's just vague conjecture. That's what it's been from the beginning. Go ahead.
Logan, yes or no? You called me and said thank you for sticking up for Father Chuck.
Yeah, because I'm glad you stand up for Father Chuck.
Okay. So, What was that about, Ayden? I take responsibility. I didn't blame
that in that instance
Logan.
You did not, though. I'm saying in that instance you did not. I'm not saying that you never take responsibility, because I've seen you take I'm not saying that you're incapable of it. I've seen you take responsibility, both in that and the fact that you stuck up for me, and I've expressed appreciation and still appreciate the fact that you did that. But what I'm saying is that in this instance, you definitely did not take responsibility for your actions. I'm not saying you're incapable of taking responsibility. I'm saying this one time, you most certainly did not, and that is undeniable.
Logan, did I kick Gangster Ghost off the chat? Was that me that did that, or did I try and bring it to his face so that he can make his own case?
When did we ever say that you kicked him? That was never in contention.
No, but you're saying that I need to be responsible for something. What would I be responsible for?
I'm saying that you are responsible for what happened between you and Bruce, not Logan.
Then that's got nothing to do with me and Logan. Why am I getting yelled at for what happened between me and Logan?
No, I'm saying that what happened between you and Bruce... Oh my god. What I'm saying is that what happened between you and Bruce, Dustin, is your responsibility, and the very fact that you brought it up to Logan the way that you did was an act of you shirking that responsibility. Do you need me to draw this out on a whiteboard for you?
No. Ayden, the way that I brought it up to his attention was the way that it was brought up to mine. You don't need to draw this out for me. I wanted him to understand exactly why he was kicked off of the panel, so there was no confusion.
So was that, and I gotta ask you, because I've asked everybody that was involved in this, I want to hear your opinion on this. Was Logan brought on that show to get confronted? Because the way that people were acting about it when you started making your advance towards Logan, it really kind of had that impression.
I don't know if Logan was brought on that show to be confronted. That wouldn't have a thing to do with me.
I'm just asking,
I showed up on the show. No, but hold on a second. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
No, I don't know anything. I was at work all day. I don't talk to people when I'm at work. I've been busy. Dude, it was brought to my attention. Like the night before, I got like 3 crazy texts about something with Logan, right? And then I was talking with Steven about it, and then there was somebody else who was talking to me about it. Dude, like I don't care. I don't even know Logan. Right? Like I am so confused right now, dude. I really don't get it. Man,
honestly,
all I did was I told Logan the truth. That's it. I brought all the information that was presented to me and I brought it to his face. You may not have liked the tone, the choice of words, or the timing. But like I said, and like I will continue to say, I do not care. Because I only told the man the truth.
You told the man the truth unscrupulously, though, is what I'm saying. You did not
have
any... Hold on. You did not doubt what was being said to you.
Oh, you don't know my mind. You don't know my mind. You don't know my state of mind.
The way that you confronted him with that, though, dude, come on. Anybody that goes back and watches that tape, all right, that watches what was done and how you conducted yourself with your interaction with Logan, you had your mind made up going in there, dude. Come on.
I had my mind made up that people had their mind made up. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, to a degree, you're right. That doesn't mean that I was coming at Logan crooked about starting fights. I presented it that way because I wanted him to defend himself or admit to it. I don't know. What would you have done, Logan? I mean, or not Logan, Ayden, if you were in my shoes, you knew nothing about Logan, right? You think you wouldn't have come at him crooked like you have any other one of the Christians that you have? Yeah, I know what you would have done, Ayden. I'm pretty sure I know what you would have done.
Hold on. You know what? You can ask other Christians in this community what I do publicly and privately. You can go ahead and you can see the correspondences I have publicly and privately with people. And you will know for a fact that they both match up because I'm somebody with integrity. So you can go ahead and shove that claim to the side, sir, first and foremost. And secondly, this entire narrative, like, what I would have done in your shoes, Dustin, is I would have messaged Logan privately. I would have told him that this is what everybody is saying, and I would have given him, as the Bible says, an opportunity privately to have a discourse about this based on the accusations that were leveled before I took it public. You skipped the first step, biblically speaking.
No. I don't think that's fair, Ayden. I don't think that's fair. Maybe you should ask Logan first. Maybe you should ask Logan first about whether or not he can receive messages from me.
Well, I didn't say you couldn't receive messages. I'm saying, did you?
No, but you did say I skipped a step. You did say I skipped the step.
I did, absolutely.
Yeah,
Logan.
but you don't know that I couldn't have tried. You don't know that. That's not fair.
I've talked with Logan about this, and if you did do that, then that has never been. Logan, did he try and talk to you?
I can't message. I've tried messaging him. I have tried.
He could have called me.
I tried.
That's true. Did he try?
I have tried. I've tried calling you.
Do you have missed calls from Dustin before this happened? Because if you do, I mean, like, if you do, then that would be a good thing to see, because it would bear out what Dustin is saying. And I want to make it clear, Dustin, like, if the evidence bears out what you're saying, then fine, fair enough. I'm not here to witch hunt you, dude. I'm here based on the evidence that I have been given at my disposal, and you know what that evidence seems to indicate? It's that Steven will say one thing to one person, as far as, oh, Logan, you didn't do anything wrong. Hold on, you didn't do anything wrong with your interactions with Bruce. He said that, and I have the screenshot, and I can share my screen with that screenshot right now. And then he'll say to you that, oh, he's faking his autism, and he's just doing this because he's bored. That's a two-faced person. That is somebody that cannot be relied upon, and that is the person you're getting your information from.
Ayden,
that's not a reliable source.
Look, I'm not gonna say one way or the other, because Steven's convinced for his own reasons, and you're not gonna get me to bash Steven either, right? Like, I didn't bash.
I want to make that clear. I'm not trying to get you to bash Steven. What I'm trying to say is that the evidence shows that Steven is not a reliable source on this, because he said one thing to one person and another thing to another. There is proof of this, Dustin.
I will walk away from that claim only because you have solid evidence, Ayden. Otherwise, I would fight you until the depths of hell.
I know,
but that's not a fair statement.
I know that you're loyal to your friends, Dustin. I've never questioned that. There's never been a question in my mind of your loyalty, alright? But I do think that in this particular instance, you are being loyal to a fault. I think that you are being blindly loyal to somebody, and I think the evidence bears out that this person is guilty of being dishonest.
He's guilty. Everybody's guilty of being dishonest to a degree. All right,
well,
look, I don't know.
Sin.
I don't. Who doesn't sin? Dude, give me a break. Okay, look. Again, Logan, have I tried to call you? Yes or no? And I have the calls on my call log. It doesn't matter, even if you do or do not admit to it.
Only one time on the show I asked you why, and you didn't say you need to tell me or anything. You just said
we were on the show, weren't we, Logan?
Yeah, you didn't say you needed to talk to me privately or anything. You just said just to call to talk to me.
So you did skip a.
I called you and said I wanted to talk to you, didn't I? Yes or no?
On the show you did.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, but
dude, come on! I called you. I have the call log, Logan.
Let Logan speak, Dustin.
He called me. Next day I asked him, why did he call me?
July 21st. July 21st, Logan. I called you.
Let him finish.
I asked him why. He didn't say. He just says he wanted to talk to me. He didn't say like he needed to say anything privately or anything like that. At least said something like that. He didn't.
July 21st, Logan.
I know you called me.
I tried.
But you did when I talked to you the other day about it.
It was more than a week ago, Dustin. That was more than a week ago.
Because again, Logan, it does actually. It does, because that wasn't the only person who was talking to me about it. Okay?
The name
right? And it was. Yeah, and I'm not going down that road. But I was trying to talk to him about it. Okay? It had been brought into my attention a couple of times.
Probably Stump.
So, like, I don't know, dude. Like I said, I brought it to his attention because I got sick and tired of it being put in my face. It really had nothing to do with me. My argument with Bruce was over Charles, right? And my argument with Steven or with Stoney, Mark Stoney was over other bullshit. Like, so I don't know. Okay, but it was implied that he was involved in that as well. So I don't know. Okay, like I said, somebody is your enemy, Logan. It's not me. I don't know you well enough to even want to do anything to you, man.
This is public. This entire thing is public because it was done publicly. So, is it optimal that it's done publicly? Absolutely not. But that is how things were done from the outset, so they need to be finished publicly. It's great that Stump thinks that we can just go along and sweep this under the rug and act like this never happened, but it did. And there are people that need to be made accountable for what happened, because what happened with Logan was not right. I'll bet a paycheck that Stump was one of the three, though. I'll bet a paycheck on that.
Will you at least agree that it would be easy for passersby to seem like you were bullying Logan?
I think that
Really?
there are some people. Listen to what I'm saying, Christian. I think there are some people that would look at what I said and see me as a bully, and there are some people that would look at what I said and see that all I was trying to do was tell the man the truth.
Where are those people?
That I was.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You're gonna have to go and look, right? But I'd be willing to bet there's a few people. I'd be willing to bet there's a few people that I could turn to that growing up in my neighborhood that would hear exactly what I was saying. That I was telling Logan that if he had any reason to be upset, right, that he needed to find it within himself to fix the problem.
So it is on Logan. The onus is on Logan then.
That's all.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the onus to solve other people's actions towards him. That's not the same thing. He's in with a group of people that don't have his best interests at heart, and he should be hanging with other people. In all honesty.
Thank you for at least admitting that. Thank you for at least admitting that, because you're absolutely right.
Dude, that's all I was trying to say from the beginning.
Have a good night, everybody, and thank you, Dustin, for coming on into the Lion's Den. You were Daniel. You were Daniel himself. You went into the Lion's Den and you came out the other side. So I'll respect you at least for that.
Christian and Ayden, thank you for standing out for me.
Of course, Logan. I'll always have your back. You're my friend, and I'll always stick up for you, especially if you're being unfairly treated. So, of course, Logan, I'll always have your back. Everybody, have a good. Unless anybody wants to say anything to me before I go, have a good rest of your night, and take care.
When I'm confronted with an issue, to me, every problem's a nail, and I'm a hammer. So, I don't know. Maybe consider that before you include me in things, because I don't have a subtle way, and my only gear is go. So, when everything comes down to the red lines, that's usually when you call me. And if you don't want me involved, don't tell me, because I don't hold secrets.
Good night, everyone.
Okay.
Bye.
Logan,
Night, Logan.
good night, buddy. And you're
Good night.
welcome
Good night,
on my
buddy.
show anytime, buddy. You know that.
Okay, thank you. Good night, Christian. Good night, Ryan. And good night.
Good night, good night. Good night, John boy.
I handled Logan in the same intensity, ferocity, and tenacity that I would have anybody who was attacking your character. I wasn't trying to attack Logan. I was trying to give him a proper picture of the way things were presented. And you know, I mean, maybe it came off the wrong way, but like I said, I stand by that.